In our last installment, we'll talk about some of the big ideas in Freud that you can apply to countless texts, starting with something he calls the family romance. We can look closely at this dynamic. In this scenario, we have a child who is unhappy with his or her current situation. So the child creates this elaborate dream fantasy, which they have another real birth parents who are from nobility. And the family they are living with now are not the real parents. You have many instances of this family romance. One of the most notable is Harry Potter. I think at this point I'm supposed to say something like spoiler. Quick synopsis. We have Harry Potter, who has to move in with his mean aunt and uncle after his parents die from what he is told is a car accident. His new family treats him horribly, makes him live under a staircase, and he is tormented by his spoiled cousin. One day, a large man with a beard shows up and tells Harry that he descends from wizards, that his parents were killed by an evil wizard. He must go to a new magic school to learn wizardry and avenge his parents. The symbol of Harry's power is a wand, by the way, a very obvious phallic symbol. He can cast spells and practice magic. Magic is anything that defies reality. At this point, we know that Harry is unhappy with his current reality. Instead of mourning his parents, he melancholically introjects them by becoming a wizard himself and trying to avenge their deaths. We could call this an elaborate family romance by a kid who suffered a trauma and has the additional traumas heaped upon him. Nowhere in the story did I see the aunt or uncle offer Harry therapy, so we can say that poor Harry is under the staircase, swinging around a stick, imagining that he is a wizard. The concept of a fetish, which is probably the most overrepresented hashtag ever, is usually misunderstood. The root of the term is from economics, not from psychology, and it is all a transference of the value of one object to another. Money or cash would be a fetish. The dollar itself has no value. It's just a piece of cloth. We have given it a value. Now, the money stands in for the things which we desire. In Freudian terms, the fetish is the way we trick our minds by sublimating a desire, by attributing it to a different thing. For instance, sexual fantasies generally involve genitalia. But if you feel like the desires are inappropriate, you can transfer that desire to something non-sexual, like a foot. So you no longer have inappropriate desires, since it's only a foot. Lastly, let's look at the uncanny. The uncanny is something we love and hate simultaneously. It is a symbol of the repressed impulses we have. When we repress something, we really want it, but at the same time, we know it is wrong. So it could be a paradox of desiring the same thing represented in opposites. For instance, a desire to be buried alive could also be a desire for rebirth. In the womb, you were buried alive. Or on a roller coaster, you know that the chance of death is infinitesimal. It's still possible. But that near-death experience that you get does not confirm that you almost died. It confirms that you are still alive. It's a very, very tricky concept. So think of a zombie or a ghost, both living and dead. If you've read Frankenstein, for instance, you could say that the monster is a symbol of the uncanny. It's a representation of all the things that Victor represses in himself. And then he projects these qualities onto the monster so that he can reject them. Next week, we're going to try to apply the 5 stages of psychosexual development, the psyche structure of the ego, id, and superego, and even the family romance to some of the short stories. Take care.